Hello and welcome to our first session of MSP Inspire workshop. I'm your host Sundareshwar and we'll begin. You guys might be wondering what is MSP Inspire workshop. Well, this is a program which is created in mind to enable speakers to get started with presenting and have content for other MSPs and other educators around the world, and also give them an online presence by giving the recognition. The main goal of the series is to make content available for others who are organizing events and make them in the best presentable way so that they could get to able to learn easily and create a session on their own. Moving forward, today we have Shashidhar Reddy Javaji, who is pursuing BTech in CSE from Anura Group of Institutions, Telangana. He is a beta level Microsoft partner and a campus superhero of coding blocks at his own campus. He is currently doing an internship at LTRC Lab, IIIT Hyderabad. He has also won Megathon 2019, a 24-hour hackathon organized by IIIT Hyderabad. And not only that, he has many certificates to his name. His interest involves in working on machine learning algorithms, neural networks, NLP, and many more. Without any further ado, let me just hand over to the session to him. Hey Sashi.
Hey, hi. So today we'll be learning about NLP and speech recognition. I'll be introducing you some of the basics of NLP and speech recognition through which you can get your hands on training, and it will be helpful for you to start your career in NLP and speech recognition if you are interested in. So with further go, let's start with it. And the first question arises, what is NLP? If you aren't into machine learning and artificial intelligence, then you may not be knowing what is NLP or not. And if you are into artificial intelligence and machine learning, you might have heard about NLP, but you may not know what NLP is totally. So many people, when asked about what is NLP, they just say that language. That's not the total meaning of it. Natural language processing is nothing but the full form of it. So what natural language processing is that, as we have learned the basics of computer science from the first year, we know that computers cannot understand the human language. That's why they have their own machine language. That is the main reason we are into coding. Coding helps us code the machines and make it work as to our need. The biggest problem arises is that computer cannot understand human language for suppose. So we have people have introduced this natural language processing through which computers can understand human language, and they can interpret and generate natural languages which humans speak. So coming to humans, different peoples from different regions have different languages. So computer needs to be trained such that it understands different languages and generates different languages. So for all these things to happen, natural language processing plays a major role. It is very similar to teaching some language to a child. So computer is nothing but we are taking it as a child. So some of the most important tasks in natural language is like understanding words, sentences, and formal grammatically, structurally. So it all needs to be correct for language to be spoken. So a computer does not know all these things. We need to teach that. In natural language processing, we do all these things. In NLP, some of the tasks include what we have is tokenization, parsing, chunking, parts of speech tagging, machine translation, and speech recognition. So there are some other challenges where computers are still challenged to do that. So what NLP helps in? As you can see in the last line, NLP helps in achieving some progress in teaching the language to the computer. As we have said, we see the computer as a child and we are trying to teach the human language to the computer. So NLP helps in achieving some progress in teaching the language to the computer. This is what NLP is as of the basics. Then the next question arises is why NLP? So you know what is NLP now, but you do not know why NLP. As you can see in this GIF, natural language processing, you see some pictures here. On the top left, what you have is Amazon Alexa or whatever, Google Home something. So that uses natural language processing. And on top, you see recommendation systems like articles for you, that is nothing but news reader, so it suggests the best news for you. They also use natural language processing. And on the top right, you see learn to code, learn to speak Spanish, so it recommends what is the next word that is going to be. And then coming to the bottom, the most and the basic thing in natural language thing is spam filter, which almost I think every computer student have heard about and uses every day. That is a spam filter. Even there you use a natural language processing. On bottom left, you see messaging auto correction, that is grammatical or Grammarly also uses natural language processing. On bottom right, you see automated captions. So what happens is you will be getting the captions according to the image. They also use natural language processing. So currently the data in our the data generated is mostly unstructured and not structured. If it was structured, people if feel it easy to work with it, but when it is unstructured, they need a person who can make it structured. So NLP plays a major role in making it structured. That's why people are looking for those who knows NLP so that they can work with NLP. And due to the rise in big data analytics and rise in more unstructured data, NLP skills are more required these days, and people are looking for those people who knows NLP. As you can see that petabytes of unstructured data is generated every day. Petabytes is this very large amount of data. So it being unstructured makes it very complicated for a normal human to understand it and then to make it in a structural form. So then you can see in the third line, we are in the age of information. We can't even imagine our lives without the information. So a person cannot sit on the computer and understand each and every line every day, and that to this much information. That's why we are training the computers to understand the language so that it makes understanding those information very easy for us. And why NLP? To make things like Siri, Google Assistant for our basic stuff. Like everybody of us uses Google Assistants or Siri. So there also we use NLP, and we use the spam filter. As I said, Gmail you may be getting some mails and that automatically goes to the spam folder. How that happens is also NLP, that we'll be discussing soon, how that is done and all. And NLP plays a major role in it, and spam filter is a basic program you do when you enter an NLP NLP technology. And then some of the applications of natural language processing. As you can see on the top right, spam filter, and the machine here which is showing the spam filter which is nothing but the model which we create that will check if the mail is spam or not, and that model consists of NLP coding. And on below of it you can see, are you happy with your life? Why? So as you are typing the question here, write down the question options. You are getting here, write down the question options which are generated by the natural language model. So what happens is when you are typing here, these will be generated automatically by the NLP as according to these lines which you type. For suppose what's your email, it will be taking text, it will be taking an email as an input. Add your phone, it will take as it is a type of number. So and when your date of birth, it is taking MMDDYYYY. That's how it goes. NLP understands our language, and according to that, it makes our lives easier. Coming to applications of NLP, if we take one by one, coming to spell corrections, like all of you use MS Word, there automatic spell corrections happens, though that thing happens from NLP. And nowadays we have Grammarly, which totally works on NLP itself. Like it understands what the next words need to be, or where to use which word and which is a better word, and all these things happen with MS Word. And next is search engines. So in search engines, what happens will be recommended what is the next word or next line according to the thing you have typed. There NLP comes into use. And speech engines, as I said before, Google Assistant, Siri, all these things uses NLP. And spam classifier we have seen here. Newsfeed, what it does is, according to the news we have read most, it will suggest the similar news. So there also NLP is used such that it reads the news that we have read, and it will then check with other news which are similar to that. And then coming to the machine translation, what happens, word by word translation happens in some cases, and in some cases whole sentence with the same meaning is translated. So that comes under lexical analysis and sentiment analysis. It's not sentiment analysis, lexical and structural. And then Microsoft Azure also uses NLP. Microsoft Azure and IBM Watson, these things also use NLP, where models will be trained. And natural language processing. So you may be thinking, okay, we know what is NLP, why is NLP, some applications of NLP. Then the next question arises, so if I want to build an NLP model, what I need to learn, or how to model it and all. So as all might be using Python these days, Python is the best language nowadays. Okay, so there are some open source tools which are available in Python. As you can see, these are some of the open source tools which can be used to model a NLP. Which can be used to code an NLP model. So first thing is GATE, General Architecture for Text Engineering, Malice, Pacey, Apache OpenNLP, Anlan NLP, GenSim, Stanford Toolkit, and at last comes NLTK. So in this session we'll be using NLTK, as NLTK is by far the best open source tool, which is very simple to use and which has more options for us, as even I use NLTK for NLP models. So NLTK, NLP with Python, as you can see in this image, some of the things which we are going to learn today: installing, then getting synonyms, getting and names, tokenization, stemming, lemmatization, stop words, speech tagging. These are some of the things which are part of NLP and NLTK, which we'll be doing today. And some basic functions. So some basic functions starting. 1 second. So some basic functions include, when we start, you might be the people who use Python these days will be very much used to these functions, starting function, basic functions. First one is split. What split does is, if you give a sentence, it will split the in, and it will give us words. So as you can see, leaders and best split. So it has a list of leaders and best. As you can see here, these are the words that has generated by this split function. So if you want to set in action, we can do that. Yeah. Okay, 1 second. Connect. Okay. Okay, till then we'll see the next function, that is nothing but the strip function. Strip function is very similar to split, but the only difference is that strip function removes the trailing white spaces to the left or right, but the split function does not remove them. And in strip function you have L strip and R strip. L strip is nothing but, okay, this is connected. So I have imported the NLTK library, and then we have taken a sentence like Microsoft Student Partners Rock, new line, this program is so cool, new line. When we print that, we get this. So what strip functions does will be showing here in the hands-on. So as you can see, string example, Microsoft Student Partners, these are all this is a single sentence. When you apply dot split to that string, the available string, what you get is a list of words. So Microsoft Student Partner Rock exclamatory, this program is so cool. So these are separated by space, and you get all these words separated. So if you want to access them, you can access them like this. So as you can see, string dot split have accessed the first element, first in the sense second, as index starts from 0. So Microsoft is 0 index and student is 1 index. So dot split and first, so we get student. And if you want to check what is a type, so it shows list. And then okay, if we do this is dot split because this is different. If you want to check, you can check with the strip as well. It functions in a similar way, except that it removes the white spaces, as I said. And then upper and lower, you might be knowing upper and lower. Is it if you give a sentence and apply an upper function to it, all the characters will be uppercase. The output you get will be in the uppercase, and when you apply dot lower, all the characters will be in the lower, will become lowercase. And replace is one function which is nothing but which is used to replace a substring in a string. So what it does is, so here you have the string example which we have used earlier, dot upper, and string example which we have used earlier. You can see here Microsoft Student Partner. This is an example. When you apply upper and lower to it, as you can see, when you have applied upper, all the characters in the uppercase, and when you have applied dot lower, all the characters in the lowercase. And coming to dot replace function, I have replaced the exclamatory mark with like 6 or 7 exclamatory marks. So as you can see here, we had one exclamatory mark here, and then it is replaced with these many exclamatory marks. So this is one another function that will be very useful for us in NLP. And so you might be thinking like, okay, I have a sentence, I have then split it into some words, I have made some following changes. Then if I want the sentence, then what should I do? Like, you want to join it. So how can you join? So you have a function called join in Python NLTK. So it's very easy to do that. So I have split the function first. This example shows here dot split. When we split, we get like this: Microsoft Student Partners Rocks exclamatory, this program is so cool. So what I did is, I wanted to show if you want to join with some other character and not the space, so you can do this, like print the character which you want to join with, dot join, and the list which is nothing. This is a list which you want to join using a hash symbol. So when we apply this, we get this output. Microsoft here hash, student hash, partner hash, rock hash, exclamatory hash, this hash, program hash, and so on. So if you want just the sentence and other characters, you can do this. You can take space here, dot join, split string example underscore split, which is nothing but this is this list. So when you join that with a space, you get the sentence back. This is how we can split and make changes and then again get back the sentences in using join and split. So delimiter is space in most cases. And coming to most exciting part of NLP. Okay, so regular expressions are a very important part in NLP. What regular explanations are? You might be thinking, what is regular expression? Some people might have heard them in their computer science, like computer science, where what do you call this? Finite automata. So automata is where we'll be using some regular expressions and all. Flat is a subject, sorry. In those subjects we'll be getting this regular. Those are different regular expressions, but the way we use them is pretty much similar to those. So the fascinating tool available within most of the programming language is this regular expression. It is also called as regex. It is a very powerful tool that it is used to for a variety of purposes, like feature extraction from text. So you use that in that, and string replacement, other string manipulations you can do using regular expression. And as you can see in this GIF, /w star e, he has mentioned /w. What it does is, after D we are searching for something, it has some word, so you get some word which has the starting character as D. So this is the expression we'll be using to get those words which starts with D and has some substring after that. In that way we write regular expressions, and the regular expression is a set of characters or a pattern. So as you can see in this GIF, we have some pattern here. So there are several things like patterns are there. I will explain it to you. So using those, we'll be getting the substrings of which we the given sentences. You can easily extract substring and do other string manipulation using this regular expression. Then let's see an example. What happens? Okay. First, we need to import RE. So if re.search Microsoft in string H. So we are searching for Microsoft, the word Microsoft in the string. String F which I have declared earlier. This is a string. This is a string which I have declared. So if this is found, we are printing print found. re.find all. What happens is Microsoft is found in this, so it is printing print found. Then re.find all. So find all function we haven't seen yet. Find all, we'll see that as well. Some common regular expression functions you can see. Like you can see in this here, find all method searches entire string and returns the output in form of list based on matching criteria. As you can see in this example here in this GIF, input string is regular expressions in Python I2, I4, IAM. Regular pattern is I2. So we are searching for I2. re.find all, and we give the pattern here. Then we give the input string here. So then we print it, output string. what we get, if it is found, the output string will contain whatever the regular expression pattern we have mentioned. So we have mentioned it as I2, so it is found, it is put in output string. Then the print output string will print the I2 here in the form of list. So re.search, we have seen it just now. re.find and re.find iter are another functions which are used. The result of find all function is a list of all the matches, and the result of find iter function is used in a for loop to iterate through each separate match one by one. So you might be thinking like find all and find iter, what is the difference? Find all will search for all the all the substrings which matches with the regular pattern, but find iter is like will be using a for loop. In that way it works. So it will be going through one by one. After we find one substring which matches with the pattern, then we'll go to another, and etc. Then if you can see, as we have seen split function, we even have split function in regular expressions which we use to split two strings B into list using a delimiter A. Just now we have seen that when we use split function, that will be split taking space as the delimiter. Here you can mention different delimiters, like when we have joined using hash, you can mention hash here and the whole sentence here, then you will get back the words here. And re dot this is nothing but substitute. What happens it is used to replace A with B in the string C. Whatever string you want to replace, that is A, and where you want to replace it, that is B, and in which string you want to replace, that is C. And we'll be seeing all these things in working here. So this is how you write these regular expressions, and once I execute it, I'll explain it to you. And let me explain the find all here. So what happened, re.find all, and I have put the pattern as /n, which is nothing but new line in the string example. So what is the string actually? As you can see here, we have /n here and /n here. So the output we get is a list containing those two /n's. As it is found two times, so the list will be appended with all the substrings which match those patterns. And coming to this /w, you might be thinking, what is this /w? /w is nothing but it represents a word. As you can see, matches alphanumeric characters, which means small a to small z, capital A to capital Z, 0 to 9, and even underscore. So when we do re.split the word and the further string, we get all this in the space, and then we have another pattern /W, which matches with the words. So if a word is found, then that will be appended to the list, else it is not. So Microsoft student partners rock, this program is so cool. Only words, and small w is for alphanumeric characters and not word. So then we have /s, which is non-white space characters, and /d. /d is nothing but digits. If any digit is found from 0 to 9, we'll be getting that. So then we are splitting using these things. So when we split that using this, we get, this is a list, and matches words. This matches all instance of an expression in a given string and returns them in a list. So we can see re.find all /w string x. What we get is this: Microsoft student partner rock, this program is so cool. So it will find all the substrings which matches with this pattern. So /w plus as I mentioned is nothing but the word. So we get words here, which works very similar to the split function. And then I have used array.search for a word in string, matches the first instance of expression negation and returns it to the object. So as you can see, 1 to 10, this thing, what it does is it mentions the position of it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. If you count it, you'll be getting like this in the sentence. This will be 1 to 10. It will give the position of it, and match is found. So match equal to Microsoft. The first word which is found, the first instance which is found is Microsoft for this search. So it is the match, and it is present in 1 to 10 position. So this will be useful while we are trying to extract some words using the slice or whatever index or something. So this index will help us. In that way, we'll be using regular expressions for splitting, finding, and all. Like regular expression is a last topic. We can just keep on digging it. So this is some of the basics of it. You can go through it if you want to. It's pretty cool. And then coming to the next things. Okay, here I have mentioned something /d when you want to find the digits in the given string, and /D is non-digit character. So if you use this thing, then it mentions as not, and /s is for any white space character. So these are all the things which come under /s. Instead of using all this thing, you can just mention it as /s. And /S, you can use it when you do not want the white space character. It matches with the non-white space character. /w is for alphanumeric characters. Instead of using small a2 capital Z, small a2 small z capital A2 capital Z 0 to 9, and even underscore, we'll be using /w, and /W is non-alphanumeric. So the characters which does not come under these things will be matching with /W. And the basic thing. So we have entered this NLTK, and some of the basic things, as I mentioned, tokenization. First thing is tokenization. So you will find a similar thing when it comes to tokenization and split. Okay, what tokenizations again consist of different types of tokenization, like sentence tokenization and word tokenization. So this is sentence tokenizer. Sent_tokenize is a function which is used to tokenize the sentence. You give a paragraph and then you apply send tokenize into it, then you get sentences in a form of list, and the paragraph will be divided into sentences. As you can see, output is a list of sentences. This is a built-in function which is trained on certain data. Then you might be thinking, what is this Pumpkin sentence tokenizer? So the sentence tokenizer which you use here is already trained on some data, which works like it is separate. It uses space as a separator. So you might be using making some models where you want to split the large paragraph, but use a different delimiter, or you want to divide the sentence in different ways. So you want to get the sentences which are separated in a different way and not by the space. Then you can use this Pumpkin sentence tokenizer, which is useful for you. You can train the tokenizer such that it splits the sentence as per your requirements, and you can use it like this: import nltk.tokenize.pumpkin and nltk.tokenize.pumpkin and tokenizer, and you need to give the data of which how the sentence need to be divided. Okay, if we go to the here, and this is okay. This is one more thing I'll explain. String.split word frequency. Okay, we'll complete this and we'll go to show NLTK. So if you want the frequency of words. So you need to know what is the frequency while working with some of the things like spam filters also, because if a mail contains so many words which are in your list, which means that the mail is a bad mail or a spam mail, then you can say that okay, this should be put in spam folder. So for that you'll be using this string dot split if x in word frequency plus 1, else word frequency equal to 1, print word frequency. So when we apply this thing, this is a function which I have written, you get a dictionary like this. So it contains Microsoft Word is repeated one time, student word has come one time, partners one time, rock has one time, this is one time, program one time, and so on. In this way you will get to know the frequency of the words in your sentences. As I have taken a small sentence, you're getting 1 1 1 and 1, but when you work with NLP and large amount of data, you'll be getting other values, and that values will be very useful for you to make some good in every para or whatever the data you have. And coming to NLTK, as I said, a sentence tokenizer, the string will take different string here. MSP is great initiative, MSPs are awesome, NLP is love. This is a sentence I have taken. It contains 3 sentences, and 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 words. So from NLTK import sentence tokenizer. If you want to use a sentence tokenizer, you must do this line from NLTK import sentence send tokenize, send underscore tokenize, then send underscore tokenize, and you need to mention the string for which you want to tokenize this data. When you apply this, okay, sorry, yes, this is what. So as I said, like people use different data to train them, so you need to download that first of all. Okay, then send underscore tokenize string x here. MSP is great initiative is the first sentence, MSPs are awesome, NLP is love. So as you can see here, we have sentence tokenizer and we got a list containing different sentences here. 3 sentences. If you want to access them, you can access them. And as I said, if you want to train your own sentence tokenizer, this is the function you'll be using to train your own sentence tokenizer. You need data for that. And next thing we'll be using is word tokenizer. Word tokenizer is just like split function. So word tokenizer is used to, we have taken the data, whatever the data, we have divided it into sentences. Now let's divide it into words to make it more easier for us to make some insights or whatever changes we need to. So for that we'll be using word tokenize, and the output you get is again a list. And regex tokenize, we have seen regular expression, so you can use regex underscore tokenize, which is available in NLTK library, which uses some pattern or expression to divide your sentences into words. You can either use this or you can even use that re dot match, re dot replace, or whatever that is, re dot split, and that as even word underscore tokenize is already trained model. It divides the sentences using the space. So if you want to divide a sentences into words and not use delimiter as space, then you can use word punctuation tokenizer. Word punctuation tokenize. Using this function, you can train a model such that divides your sentence into words using some other delimiter and not the delimiter which is available to us already. And you can see the examples here from NLP. So if you want to use this, you can if you want to use word tokenize, first you need this. from NLTK import word tokenize. Then word tokenize the string which you want to apply word tokenize on, and when you good. So get this MSP is great initiative, full of MSP are awesome, NLP is love. So this works little different to the split function. You'll be getting these full stops and some other thing. So you can also train that, as I said, if you want to do get some other things. And next is coming up stemming. Stemming is one another. Let me do this thing. Let me take this out. Okay, cool. Now stemming. So the what is we normalize these words. We have taken the data, we have converted them into sentences. I mean, we have divided them into sentences. Then we have divided them into words. But still, we are not able to analyze the data or make some insights, or that words are not useful. We need to know the root word or where that root came from. So for that purpose, what we do is we normalize them. As you can see in this image, the playing, plays and played all come from the single word, and that is nothing but play. Ing and SED these are some words which are added to it, but the meaning of this is nothing but play. So stemming okay. So what normalizations allows is that you can get these words from the words which are existing. So for that purpose, we have two things in NLTK, and one is stemming, another is lemmatization. So what stemming does is stemming cuts off the end word or the beginning of the word. It's like removing the prefix and the suffix of the word to get this word. As you can see, stemming algorithm works by cutting off the end or the beginning of the word. This indiscriminate cutting can be used successfully in some occasion, but not always. So I'll show you why it does not work always, and why we cannot use stemming always, and we need to use some other thing like lemmatization. Taking into account a list of common prefixes and suffixes that can be found in the inflected word, stemming algorithm works in that way. So if you want to use stemming, there are so many functions that is used for stemming, but Porter stemmer is which I found to be more useful, and it's so easy. I mean, works efficiently than other stemmers. So first you need to import the stemmer and then make an object of it, then object.stem and the word. So as I said, there are so many stemmers. If you do not want to use Porter stemmer, then you can use Snowball stemmer or Lancaster stemmer, which are trained on different data. The only difference is they are trained on different data, and they have little differences. So if you want to work on stemmer, as you can see here, first you need to import the Porter stemmer from nltk.stem. Import Porter stemmer. I think I forgot something here. Okay, okay, yeah. Just now we have discussed this regular expression tokenize and word function tokenize. So if you use those functions, like you can see here, MSP is great initiative, MSP is awesome, NLP is so regular expression underscore tokenize, and the express pattern here you need to mention the pattern. I have mentioned it as words. So you get MSP is great, and you can see the difference. If you use word tokenize, you get this full stop, but when you use the regular expression, you do not get this full stop. And if you use the word function tokenize, even then you get the same output as this thing, because it is even that thing is trained on the same data. I did not train it on other data. And coming to the Porter stemmer, from nltk.stem import Porter stemmer, then we are creating an object for the Porter stemmer, or this is a function and the object is created. So if you want to stem, okay, then object dot stem and the word which you want to stem, then we are applying stemming on running, eating, jumping, cries and studies. So what we get is, for running it's run, absolutely, and for eating it's eat, jumping it's jump, and for cries it's CRI and not CRY. I'll tell you why it happens. And for studies, even for studies it should be study, DY, but it's DI. So as I said, it doesn't work in every case. You need some other thing. So what stemmer usually does, it removes the ending part or the starting part, but it does not change something. As you can see, it just removed this NING here and given it as run. Eat, in jumping it removed ING and jump. In cries it removed ES, here it is given as cry, and it studies it is removed ES. So it just removes, it does not change or search for something. So in this way stemming works. It's like breaking the things down. So this is not efficient in most cases. But that's the reason. Okay, we have one more thing. We have, what is it called, lemmatization. So what lemmatization, it does not work on like stemming. As you can see in this image, if you want, stemming is nothing but the removing of this ending words or starting words. But lemmatization, it does not do something. It searches for the root word. So by lemmatization, lemma means root. Finding the lemma means word of the word depending on the meaning. So that's the reason why we call it as lemmatization. Lemmatization usually refers to morphological analysis of the words. So what it does is it aims to remove the inflectional endings and not this always removing just the words which are at the end. So it helps in returning the base or dictionary form of the word and not some other things like removing the end of a part. So we have NLTK lemmatization method, which is based on WordNet's built-in morph function. Then it's in some process we'll be using lemmatization, and in some process we'll be using stemming as well. So what many people think is like lemmatization and stemming are both same, but both are very much different, like completely different. They give completely different output. Different section is preferred, and in most cases I prefer lemmatization over the stemming, as it is more powerful when compared to the stemming, as lemmatization takes morphological formation of sentence, not just the ending prefix or the suffix. So if you want, you can see this example. Lemmatization, parts of speech gathered. So it considers the morphological, as I said. So it considers parts of speech here. JJ is nothing but it comes under this gathered. JJ, it should come under preposition. NNS is nothing but singular noun. So what happens is gathered, it stays as gathered, requirement, it stays as requirement, and these are the lemmas here. If you want to use lemmatizer, so you'll be creating an object lemmatizer, WordNet lemmatizer, and then similar to stemming, object dot lemmatize your word here. So when we go for for importing it from nltk.stem, instead of porter stemmer, we'll be now importing wordnet lemmatizer. And then I need to remove this hash now. Then create an object for it, then use it. Let me just download it. Now okay, as you can see, rocks, it is giving us a rock. Corpora, it is giving us corpus. It is not just removing the part of the word, but it is searching for the root word. As you can see, ORA is removed and US is added. The root word of nothing but corpus. And Christ, you can see here is this thing. Here we have got CRI, but here you get CRY. You get here study, for studies you get STUDI, and if you lemmatized studies, you get STUDY. This is a main difference when you use lemmatization instead of stemming. Though stemming works in some cases, but it fails like in most cases. The words are not formed just by adding some prefix or suffix. In that cases, you will be using lemmatization, and I prefer lemmatization in most cases because it is more useful and it is more efficient. And next topic is stop words. What really are stop words? So if we take this example, sample text with stop words, without stop words. Geeks for Geeks, a computer science portal for geeks. This is with stop words. So without stop words is Geeks for Geeks, computer science portal geeks. So some words are missing. Okay, as you can see here, A is missing, fur is missing, and I guess those are the only two words. And if you go for another example, can listening be exhausting? And we get listening and exhausting. B and can are removed. And in this, I is removed, so is removed. So I add this removed. And why are these called stop words? So what happens while we are processing large amount of data, we cannot we get some kind of disturbance due to occurrence of these words, like the A and which does not give us any insights about this data, but they are present in most cases and their occurrence is frequency is very high. So we need to remove this data for us to get some good insights of the data and to understand the data pretty well. That's the reason why there are some words in English, and every language has some stop words. So those words are removed in the pre-processing steps. If you are ML or AI into those fields, then you might be very much similar to very much used to this pre-processing step. So in that process, what we do is we remove the stop words. A stop word is commonly used word that a search engine has been programmed to ignore, both when indexing entries for searching and when retrieving something as a result. Okay. So in this way, we'll be removing stop word. This helps in getting more insights into data. So if you want to apply stop words, what you need to do is first import stop words. Import stop words. Then you need to download the stop word list here for it to work, and you need to create an object for word and stop list. This is a list that will contain all the stop words in that list. So if you want to see it in action, from nltk.corpus import stop word, I need to remove this comment. Import stop words. Okay. So you can see this. We have this top list equals stop words dot words. So then what happens is this top list will contain all the words that come under top list in the language English. So you want to know what else some of the words, then you can use this. I have printed out some sentence here. I, me, my, myself, we, are, us, ourself, you are. These are some of the words which are considered as top words, and there are so many. If you want, you can check them out linear. And while applying, how to apply it, like final W word for word in string dot split. So what we are doing is splitting the given sentence into words. Then if word is not in stop list, so if it is not in stop list, then we'll be adding that to the final list. So if it is in the list, will not add. So MSP great initiative, MSP is awesome, NLP love. But the original sentence is MSP is great initiative, MSPs are awesome, NLP is love. Ease is removed, R is removed, ease is removed again. So in this way you can remove. As you can see, these are some of these words which will make sense to us. MSP great initiative. So using great, we can tell that okay, it's a positive sentence. Awesome, it's a positive sentence. Love, it's a positive sentence. So we can tell that okay, this is a good comment or whatever it is. And then frequency distribution, as earlier I have written the whole function. If you do not want to write this function, you have NLTK is providing us with this frequency distribution function. So using this function, you can easily get this distribution of each word. As you can see, this is one image produced. The image, by this image we can tell that NLP word is repeated motion, and you can create this cloud, word cloud, what they call this as. Using this you can analyze the data, like NLP, which word is repeated more, that word will be in large text. And then we'll go to POS tag in a second. We'll first finish of this. So NLTK, if you want to use NLTK dot frequency distribution and string dot split, you need to give each word. So when I enter, you can see exclamatory Microsoft student partners, this school is programmed 111. The same output which I have got previously, I have applied it to the same string. So now, even now you get the same thing. So if you want to use, you can use this. Then the next topic is POS tag. POS tag is nothing but POS in the sense parts of speech. So as you can see in this GIF, rose is noun, but in another sentence rose is adjective, and in another sentence rose is verb. So POS, parts of speech, play a major role while understanding a sentence or while forming a sentence. You need to know which word is what type of in that case what is its role. So for us to train a computer or a system to understand the human language, you need to understand the sentence, a word as well in a sentence. For that purpose we have POS tags. So POS tag, what it does, it gives us the what is it parts of speech of that particular word in the given sentence. If you want to use POS tags, then this is a syntax: NLTK dot POS tag your word here. And if you do not want to use this POS underscore tag function, there are some other tag functions which stand for tagger, unigram tagger, bigram tagger, trigram tag. So what this unigram, bigram, tagger, trigram are nothing but unigram which concentrates on only that word, and bigram concentrates on word before it, and trigram which concentrates on word and two words before it. Based on that words, it will give us the POS of the current word. So I need to download this. As you can see here, I have applied like this: NLTK.POS tag string dot split. So I am giving each word to the POS tag, and you get a list like this. So Microsoft and its POS, student its POS, partners its POS, Rock its POS, exclamator its POS, this its POS, program its POS is. So you might be thinking, what is it? NNP, NNP, NNPS, NN. So NNP is nothing but plural noun, and NNPS is singular. NN is just a noun, and when DT is nothing but determiner. VPZ is verb, JJ is adjective, and you have list of words which say about this POS. And if you want to get only the nouns, I have written a function here. So word for word POS, if it is NN or NNP or NNPS, as you can see, then it will be added to these nouns. Then when I print the nouns, what I get is Microsoft, student, partner, Rock, program. All these words, as you can see, are just the nouns. So there will be cases when you want to analyze these things, and which will be very useful for you to make some insights about the data. So if you want to get the nouns, you can use NNP, NNPS, or if you want to get some other thing, you can mention here verb or some other else. In this way, we'll be using this thing. And next, okay, as I mentioned here, this is a list. So JJ is adjective, NN is noun plural des, NN is noun singular des, and it is proper noun. Sorry, it was proper noun singular, and proper noun plural, and then PS is, and PDT is predeterminer, POS, and if you want to get verb, CC is called conjunctive, it's not required. There are some other lists, but I have given only some cases here. As you can see, she, PRP, cells is VPZ, cell in argument verb, seashells, noun, NNS, noun plural, des, on is preposition, the DT is nothing but determiner, and seashore is nothing but again noun singular. In this way, you can get the parts of speech. And one more important topic in the field of NLP is like chunking. It's not chunking, it's chunking. Okay, chunking. What chunking is nothing but grouping some words such that you can they are so similar. Given an example here, most large cities in the US had morning and afternoon newspaper. So you have here first chunk, second chunk, third chunk, fourth chunk, fifth chunk, and sixth chunk. So what chunking does is, there are two types of chunks usually: verb chunk and noun chunk. The verb chunk will consist of the chunk where some action is done. So most large cities, this makes some sense. Most large cities, these three things combined will make a particular meaning. So it's first chunk, and in is second chunk, the US, third chunk, because the US is one word, and had fourth chunk, morning and afternoon newspaper, that makes some sense. So fifth chunk, usually this thing is noun chunk, as it has noun, and this should be noun. Okay, that's it. So what happens in thinking is, you add more structure to the sentence by following parts of speech tagging. So it is also known as shallow parsing. The resulted group of words, what you get, these things is called as chunk, and there is maximum one level between roots and leaves, while deep parsing comprises of more than one level. Okay, so like this is how chunking works. So you might be thinking, why do we need chunk? So to group the noun phrases, mainly chunking is used. Like the parts of speech are combined with their regular expressions and to form the chunk. There are like predefined rules when you apply the chunk function through which chunks are formed. But if you want to make your own chunking function, then you can use this regular expression and the chunk. Like I have mentioned here, nn dot a question mark and star ppd dot question mark star again jj dot question mark. So these things, as we have learned earlier, nn is nothing but noun, bbd verb, jj is adjective, cc is coordinate conjunctive, cc is like a coordinate conjunction. So dot and mark is nothing but if that is there on 0 or more cases. Star is also for 0 or more cases. So like these words, if these 4 words are found like this, then that will make a chunk. In that way we are using chunk function here. Like it does not have any predefined rules or anything else. And if you can see a dot, any character except new line, here we have used dot, and star match 0 or more repetitions. You can see here 0 or more, match 0 or 1. We have applied this. R is for if it's repeated more time. So if you want to see an example, you can see here. I need to download this. Okay, cool. So first we'll import this from NLTK, import any underscore chunk that we'll be using to chunk the sentences, and have taken this first sentence. Pablo is a program manager for Microsoft Student Partner, and she is studying at under group of institutions. That's myself. Okay. So any underscore chunk nltk.po is tag word tokenize sent. So you need to send word by word. Binary is false and the similar sign. So what we get here? Nothing but as you can see, this is one chunk. The words which are placed in these braces that form a chunk, and these aren't placed in anything. So GP is nothing but what happened? GP is nothing but the it is recognized as a named entity like person. So Pablo is mentioned. Is considered as person, and it is given as NNP. Is his verb. The is determiner. Program NN, as you can see, and organization, as you can see. Sorry, this is named entity chunk. So we are using named entity chunk. This is one of the chunker which is used to get the named entity. So when I mentioned Pablo is a program manager for Microsoft Student Partner, so we are trying to get the name of the person and also the organization he is working in. So the person is Pablo, that is one chunk, and organization is Microsoft. That's absolutely right. So NLP makes it easier for us to guess. Pablo is a person who is working at Microsoft, and you can see in my example as well. GP Shashi, and organization. This is one chunk, whole chunk. Anurag group of institution. Anurag group is taken off, is considered as some preposition, so it will be removed if my institution name would have been different like that. So organizations and group both are considered as one chunk, and those come under organization which I work at, and the GPE, as you can see, I work at this. I study at under group of institution. And coming to the actual there are another chunk, as I mentioned. If you want to train some chunk like this, if you want to train some chunk, okay, if you want to train something, then what you do is you import everything from import nltk dot word tokenize tag equal to pos tag. You tag everything. Grammar, you give it like this, like np, and the chunk pattern you want to do it. This is not that thing. Sorry. Yeah, okay, good. This is a pattern you give it. You're not doing that. This is a different thing. The MSP program print result. Print. This is a. So we have printed these tokens and grammar, regular expression, grammar, cp.parse. Okay, like the parsing trees. Okay, I haven't explained about parsing yet, but okay. So we get this is a words, and this is where you get all the what you call parts of speech. Then comes chunking here. So in this way you print all these things, and this is a pattern I have used. If this pattern is found, and or this pattern or this pattern, whatever is found, that will be made into one chunk. So if you want to see like NP, NNP, NN, so NN, NNP or NN, or I have used this. So whatever those three are found, once or more, as you can see star, once or more, that will be made into one chunk. So you can see here it's those three are placed in curve basis, so that is one chunk, and here one more chunk, NP or NN, and here NP or NNS, NP or NNS, you can do that as well, and here as well NP, NNP, NNS, here NP, NN, NP, NN, NPNN, and so on. So in this way it works. So parsing is one more topic actually. What parsing actually is, we'll take the sentence and we'll parse it through a tree such that we'll get to know how they are formed actually. So we'll be using regex parser and cp.parse tag to print this thing. By giving this expression we'll get such a pattern, which nothing but we'll get like a tree. That's how you get it. And if you want to, let's see some examples before going to the speech of natural language processing. I think we are done with the coding part. London is a capital, most popular city of England, and something. So what natural language processing does here? So it identifies London, and it says that London is a main topic which we are discussing, and then make some other suggestions like capital of United Kingdom, most popular city of England, founded by Robin. So this is all the things which were generated by the NLP model, which read this sentence and made some insights from this sentence. And this is one more thing where you give a context and a question, then it will generate the answer. This is generated by, I guess it was from IBM or someone else. This model was created so that you give context and a question and it will generate the answer. And this model had so many things to do at once. It processes around 10 things at once, and may get this answer right. So what is a summary? It can get the summary, whatever you need about this content, all those things will be done using this model. So it's a very typical model. As you can see, it has so many things in it, so like neural network, some other things and all. If you want to go through it, you can go through. And coming to speech recognition, and speech recognition, you know that you'll be using it, as you can see, Google Assistant here, Siri, Google Home, whatever, Amazon. Nowadays everything is hands-free. Like there people are trying to make everything hands-free because it will be easier for us to use them. And so if you want to model a speech recognition model, how do you do it? That's the main important thing. So I'll give you some basic things. If you want to make a chatbot or something else, And using this NLP skills along with speech recognition, you can create some awesome models that will work like best thing. And these Google Assistant, whatever are there, all these things use NLP and speech recognition as a primary things to build these models. So I'm not going to explain much about speech recognition, but I'll just tell you the code so that if you want to create a chatbot or some other thing using Python, how can you do that? So these are two main functions, TTS and STT. So what is TTS and STT? I'll explain it to you. TTS is nothing but text to speech. So if you want to convert the text to speech, then you can use this function. And then you might be thinking like, okay, if I have speech, then I need to convert it to text. So what happens in speech, these Google Assistant and Siri, first they ask us question which is written in text for them, that is converted to speech, and it is given as speech output. So speech is given as output from the text. For that they use this TTS, and then we speak something that is converted to text and it is written here. Whenever we speak hello world is spelled, so hello world is, yeah. For that we use HTT, which is nothing but speech to text. So in this way we can communicate with the computer, and internally we can process it using natural processing and make some particular decisions. So what this TTS has is, STR is nothing but that string we give. So I'll explain it from here. TTS, can I know your name please? So what I want to do is text, I want computers to spell out, can I know your name please? Then that will be sent here. GTTS is a function which is available to us, so which is used to convert this to speech, like text to speech. What that means is text here, the text which you want to convert to speech is given here, and the language in which you are trying to convert is given here, slow or fast, like can I know the place, or can I know your name please, how you want to spell it, that's what is given here. Then you need to save it into some file, like I have saved it as s.mp3. s.s.mp3, you can give some other thing here and some other thing here, and when you play sound s.mp3, then you will be getting like can I know your name please, that will be spelled by the computer, that will be given as output. Then okay, then that is done. Computer spells out can I know your name please, then I need to give, like you need to tell your name, and that should be converted to speech. So for that we'll use this x equal to STT as a function. So x equal to SR dot recognizer. This is a function used to take the speech input. So this will contain, this is object with SR dot microphone. You can give your audio file if you want, which is already present here, or if you want to take it live on that time, then you can use SR dot microphone as source, x dot adjust for ambient. This is you can use some other thing. You can even remove this sentence, remove this line of code without using this. This line is used to remove the ambient noise. I had some issue with it. So then you can use directly this line, audio to or something else equal to x, the object which we have created, dot listen, the source is nothing but microphone, time for 6 seconds it should listen. So for timeout equal 6 and phase limit equal to 4. When I do this and when I return, x dot recognize Google is used to convert it, the speech which we have got from here, into text. So what happens is x equal to STT, then x will get whatever is spelling. My name is Shashi, so I spell it as Shashi, and x will get Shashi. So print hello Shashi, how can I help you, or hello how can I help you, whatever you'll be getting in that way. So this is the thing, and I would like to show you some examples.
Speak loud.
Good.
Good. The synonyms of the word good are Trade_good. Safe. Honest. Just. Right. Good. The antonyms of the word good are badness, bad, evil, ill, evilness. Definition of the word is benefit. Example sentence with the given word for your own good. Translated the word from English to Spanish in English good and in Spanish bueno.
So as you can see in that example video, that the model which I have trained, what it does is it takes the word as an input and it gives us all the synonyms and antonyms and what is the meaning of that word, an example sentence with that word, and also it translates the given word into any other languages. Like I have translated the given word into Spanish. As you can see that good when translated from English to Spanish is nothing but bueno. So this will be useful for those people who cannot see, so they cannot use this. So what they do is they speak, and the information about word will all be given using speech, and also the good is given in the form of voice. So in those cases these models will work tremendously. And you might be thinking how I got the synonyms and antonyms. So there is this word2vec library and NLP which contains all these things like syn sets, it's called as. So for a given word, these things are all saved in those things. And coming to the next model,
Are you a customer or a farmer?
farmer.
Welcome to Farmer's page. Can I know your name?
Shashi.
Hello Shashi, where do you stay?
Hyderabad.
Your address is Hyderabad, so what crops do you grow?
Tomatoes.
You grow tomatoes, how much quantity?
100.
Okay, you have 100 kgs of tomatoes. We have your details saved. We'll let you know if your crops are ordered. Thank you.
So this was a simple chatbot type model which was created to remove the intermediates between the farmer and the customer, and it was made use of speech because farmer cannot use these applications. It was more like a customer care model, so that the farmers can get the questions and get the answers in the form of speech that will be saved in a website. And the customer can directly buy from the farmer. So we'll be having some people who will act as intermediate and not those intermediates who take most of the profit from, and farmer gets less profit. So by using these project, we were trying to help farmers get more profit and also help customer to get directly the products from the farmer. It's more like a big basket, but the connection is given through this model and all. So these are some of the projects which you can build using speech recognition and NLP. And that is it for this. That is it for now. And that's it. Thank you. And these are my handles if you want to follow: Twitter, and this is LinkedIn. Thank you.
Well, I think that this is a session for you just created a beginner course for people who want to learn NLP. So it's a pretty you started from teaching a beginning stage and now to a kind of intermediate course. So it did well. It's very good. Honestly, I never did NLP, but like listening to your and seeing the practicals in your notebook, I'm really inspired on. And okay, one question. So okay, you have teach this NLP stuff, right? So
Yeah.
do you have any more suggestions that if people wanted to like do more in this NLP, so do you have any suggestions of any websites or any courses that the people want to do, people can do?
NLP, actually, people what they need to do, they need to do more projects. That's the only way they can learn more NLP. And there is some website actually where people can get to know. Actually, that documentation itself is like NLTK tokenization. If I could say. Okay, I will get videos here. 1 second. It's like Python programming.net. Not that. Yeah, that's it. Python programming.net. That's where you can get like all this NLP thing. I'll send you the link if you want.
Yeah, just send it. So people, if anyone wants to learn more NLP stuff, you can find the link in the description also. And well, this notebooks and everything would be available in our GitHub repository. So yes, thank you for attending, and thanks Shashi for like joining us for the MSP Inspire workshop session. It was like a really great pleasure for us to listen to you today. And well, Ganesh, any last words you want to say?
I think the main reason for having this was to enable everyone to have a session on this topic. So if you plan on doing session on this topic, you can connect with Shashi on his given platform links, as well as we would always like to know how your experience was regarding this talk, and if you plan on doing a session on this topic, please let us know. I think
Okay,
that
so
was it.
yeah, so thank you everyone for tuning in. We'll meet soon for the next Inspire session.